We are Flake, Rose, and Spears, and we are supremely black, dropping content that matters. How y'all mental checkup this week, fellas?
Mental checkup, cool. I can just say it's cool. I was good today. Then all of a sudden, for some reason, it turned left. But I got to the crib, got to cooking, hugging and kissing the kids, whatnot. Everything got good. Still a little stressed. If you ain't got your tickets to the comedy show, it's gonna be. You got a couple of days to buy your tickets, and don't get caught slipping and let it sell out on you. So go ahead, buy your tickets, come to the comedy show, Pandemic Jokes. It's gonna be Sunday the 25th, 6:30 p.m. followed by Nashville folks. Live comedy recording album. Wear your best of threads. I don't want y'all to end up on Amazon looking crazy. Somebody you should have wore something else. Nah. Get your threads ready. We're gonna have a great night. We got a great lineup, and I'm gonna hit you with these pandemic jokes. And we're gonna have a wonderful night of comedy, and we're gonna stamp Nashville, man. It's not just being music city, country music city, but also a comedy city as well. D Rose.
That's dope, man. You know, congrats again. How you feeling about that show? You nervous at all? I mean,
Yeah, I'm nervous. I ain't even got no outfit yet. That's the cry. I got 2 days to get an outfit together.
you out here telling folks now the best threads, you ain't got yours lined up.
I ain't worried about me. I'm gonna be straight. I ain't worried about that. I'm gonna be straight. I'm just trying to piece it all together. But yeah, that's the most stressful part is that. And I shot a little commercial for it night before last. Well, not a commercial. It's gonna be a whole little video come out before I come out. It's gonna be another video played. So I just shot a little video for that. So yeah, I'm a little nervous, man. I've been running over my lineup every day and hoping I don't forget nothing. Because sometimes you get in the moment as a comedian. Sometimes you forget some stuff. And you be like, dang, I wish I would have said that went over that. Well, I can't make that mistake. This one take show. It's one show. It ain't no 2 or 3 shows we're gonna piece together. It's one show, one take, game 7. It gotta be it.
That's what's up, man. But I know for a fact it'll be a success, man. But from our mental health check-in, it's been great. I can't complain at all. Chris and I, we did a water cleanse, so seven days straight of just drinking water. You could incorporate smoothies or fresh pressed juice if you like. So that actually ended yesterday at 5. But during that time, I definitely got closer to God. It was mentally challenging outside of the headaches, but just more or less of, you know, when I was becoming a little agitated or hungry, I was either drinking water or prayed or meditated or what have you. So I think it was just like I was telling Spears and speaking with a few people that actually did it with us. It was more challenging than I expected, but it was definitely just perfect timing because I think it's just a lot going on, and it's just good to kind of be able to fast for something that you do and you don't really realize of how much of a mental break that actually gives you by, you know, withstanding from something that you would consider as part of your everyday. And I think fasting is more, you know, spiritual bonding more or less than anything. And it's just a mental check-in, a mental check for yourself. But honestly, it's been a great week, high energy, getting ready to go to Tulum Friday for my birthday. So I'll be over there for a week, but everything's good, man. I can't complain. How about you, Spirit?
So you leaving for the saloon this morning?
No, I'm going
this morning.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. But no, yeah. So now, yeah, but now, I mean, we record this on a Monday, so when it drops on Friday, yeah, I will be actually on a plane landing in Cancun by then. So yeah, I'll be over there from the 23rd to July 30th. And my birthday is actually on the 29th. So when this drops, I'll be in the clouds by that time. But how about you, Spirit?
My mental been great. My mental been good. Besides these allergies that came in and kicked in and kicking my ass for these past couple of days, but other than that, I've been good. No complaints, no worries, no nothing. Like you said, the water fast like you could feel the bad moving or getting out of you. And that's like you said, the headaches, and then like my jitters kind of, because it was like, you know, and I could just feel the stuff getting out of me. And so it was more of a mental thing than anything. When I was able to do it, I had to cut it a little bit early because I got some antibiotics, and so I had to take food with my antibiotics and stuff. And so I wasn't able to fulfill the full 7 days, but I am planning on doing it in August again, and you know, sticking with it and finishing it up. But it was a blessing. I have tapped back into doing Bible plans and all this other stuff. So getting closer to God, getting more spiritually connected and centered for myself. So everything's good on that end. But with us doing a mental checkup, we're gonna ask the real question about, do we think our mental is gonna be able to hold up with what's transpiring in America right now? So I don't know if our listeners really tune in to CNN, any news outlet, BBC, any world news or anything like that, or even, you know, check certain websites or whatever, but the numbers are coming back up. They're starting to rise again as far as the pandemic goes. But then also with that, they're starting to cut the end of, you know, pandemic unemployment. The evictions are about to go back out from the, you know, the grace period, I guess they gave us during the pandemic. And, you know, when you could pay a certain amount of rent or didn't have to pay rent or whatever, but now the evictions are about to come out from all of that. And so they really about to put people on their asses now and out there who's going to have to struggle and have to get it by any means necessary. And with that being said, we know when somebody don't have nowhere else to turn to, they turn it into my house, your house, or somebody else's house to try to make a way for them to survive and to feed their families. So we just want to touch in and tap into, is the pandemic really over? But also the consequences and repercussions that can transpire, and in all honesty will transpire from the things that our local governments and federal governments are about to decide to do nationally. So anybody want to tap in on that? Go right ahead.
We got California that's already back on mask mandate. I think that for those who not vaccinated, should continue to wear a mask. I think for those who are vaccinated, you should probably continue to wear a mask also. It's pandemic is not over. They never said it was over. It's just that a lot of people start getting vaccinated. Everybody think we just go back to normal, uh, like we were before, or somewhat back to normal like we were before. I think for a lot of people, we back prepared. We'll be more mentally prepared for that this time because we know what to expect. But last time it's surprised that you go from, hey, I'm going to work 5 days a week, or I'm going to the club, or I'm getting out kicking it. And then all of a sudden, just like that, boom, you stuck in the house for 6, 7 days in a row, not able to go anywhere. Um, I know a lot of people is wanting to work from home as an option, but there's when you good to talk about that and say I want that, but then when you work from home, when you get finished working, you can't go nowhere, then it makes it worse. So nobody never thought about that. Everybody wants to work from home, but then when you get off from work, you can go wherever you need to go. You want to go have drinks with your people, this, that, and the other. You can do that. But this time it was like, yeah, you work from home. Oh yeah, I'm working from home. Boom, boom. Oh, when you clock out, ain't nowhere to go except the grocery store and the gas station. So I think some people be more mentally prepared for that. Some people, keyword some, others are still down and out and still hurting, and they want to go back to doing everything they was doing. And if we have another kick in the ass from the pandemic, that's gonna make it even worse for them. As I hear about it in my 9 to 5 job, all the time that people are still trying to come back up for the pandemic. I be hearing people asking, "Can you work with me on my medical bill?" Because when this happened, it was in the pandemic, and I was laid off, And here we are here 90 days later, I'm still laid off. But a small part of me feels that we not gonna go back to where we were as far as people not getting out the house, not having concerts, clubs being closed, or none of that. Because the old United States of America is all about that mighty dollar. That mighty dollar saying, God, we trust, but we know in reality, the United States is that mighty dollar in trust. So we had too many people that had a lot of money in their pocket, losing a whole lot of money, a lot of business owners that was way up there. I think Jeff Bezos might be the only person that really got it off during this pandemic. It might have been somebody else, but I'm just saying, there was a lot of others that depend on people to show up, buy tickets, buy their products, be in their stores, buying cars, this, that, and the other that lost out on the pandemic. You gotta think about it. These automakers are still losing out because the pandemic has put parts orders behind and all of that. So cars are not being produced as fast. So these big companies like Ford, Toyota, Nissan, and things of that nature are not able to put these cars out as fast as they used to. And also people are not buying the cars like they used to. Because why? Because they're not working. And then also your used cars are costing just as much as the new cars because there's a car shortage. Just give an example. So, I mean, I hope we can sustain it. I hope that, whatever we got to do, if you feel like vaccinating is your way of us getting over this, if you feel like just washing your hands and putting your mask on is the way to get over, I just hope everybody remain protected so we won't get back to the space that we was before because everybody got to eat. And I don't need nobody trying to cross into my house thinking they're going to get a meal because my refrigerator empty right now. So you go in there, Bubba, you can take that Sprite that's flat in there. You can take the little sour cream you got left over, got a little cheese and crackers for you, but that's about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, full transparency. I think you asked a good question in regards to what are we going to be able to mentally, kind of withstand the things that I guess we kind of expect to happen. I think last year was definitely challenging enough, and I think it put me in a different space to where I could mentally prepare for it. And but I just think it's a very, very dangerous times because one side of America wants it to be business as normal, but the other side says there's still a pandemic outside that's going to restrain people from being able to produce the amount of money that they typically are used to having. So you know how that comes when it's dark times. It comes to desperate measures, and desperate measures comes to use higher crime rates, and higher crime rates comes with it's going to put stress on somebody. And it just makes it dangerous. And we're not even near holiday season. So if we think we're in July right now, if this is how they're about to start going back as business as usual and taking away the benefits of the pandemic because it's kind of hard to find jobs and people still scared of the virus. What you expect for people to do, man? People are going to try to eat, whether they try to get yours or, somebody else's. I think it's unfortunate that they're not still providing people with that ability to at least get the benefits, or at least for the evictions for people that have tried. If they're giving you something, I still think that should be, a little bit of a grace period. But, to Flake's point, America's all about the dollar, and that's what makes the world go round in some people's space. But to answer your question, I'm mentally prepared for whatever will come with that, for better or for worse. You just, at this point, after seeing last year, you literally have to do what you have to do and make sure you and yours are good, no matter the situation. So what's your thoughts on the Spirits? Do you feel that you're mentally stable enough to deal with it? And what do you think the, not ending result, but how do you predict everything will happen?
Nah, I'm mentally prepared because we went through it already. And to Flake's point, one, I think this administration will handle it a little bit more responsibly. But then two, I don't think we're going to be as naive as a population and the people in a society as we were when it first happened. or as skeptical because we lived through it and we know we've been through it, so we already know what it's like and what it entails. So we'll be that much more willing to do whatever it takes to get this over with. However, as I stated when we first just talked about, coronavirus back in the day when it first came up, this is something that's going to be here. This is really the new flu. So we have to figure out how we're going to maintain and how we're going to survive and how we're going to go about it. So there's really not much that can be done with it anymore. I mean, I don't see them giving out too many more stimulus packages. And then as Flake stated and as you stated, we don't want people out on the streets, but America all about the dollar and the capitalism and people trying to make money. And when you got these big businesses, because apartment complexes, they might have different names, but it's only like 5 or 6 of them that's building all these apartments. So, when they losing money on each property, they losing millions of dollars a day because you thinking a property might hold anywhere from 400 to 500 different apartments. And, at $1,000 a pop times 6, 7 different buildings, that's bread, and you losing that on a monthly. So when people do get put out on these streets, God forbid, but it's really gonna happen. And when people have a hard way of making money from Flex points of being laid off because jobs just they can't, well, they can, but they choosing not to because they still want to hold on to their money and get bonuses or whatever the case may be. But they can't pay as if they were pre-pandemic because, again, there's shortages. They're not getting their supplies or they're not getting the things that they need to produce the material that they do that allows them to make money. So it's just a messed up situation all around. And hopefully, by grace that we figure it out and things turn for the better. But it's about to get ugly again for a brief minute. And like you said, holiday season. Whew, holiday season. We really gonna see what it's like because this past holiday season, we was kind of coming out of it. We were still in it, but we was kind of beginning to come to the outs. And they was talking about the vaccine and the different things. So morale was high. People was looking, okay, this is about to turn. But this holiday season, if it's going down, then that could be a whole different monster that we might not be prepared for. And so it might get ugly out here in the streets. But hopefully this administration is doing some things that we aren't privy to right now and that we're not hearing, that they can combat what's ahead of us. But at the end of the day, we just got to make sure that we do our jobs. And like Flake said, because I know I am now, after looking at the numbers and then just other things, I'm going to start going back to a mask and all of this other stuff. And then I stay my ass at home, but during my birthday, I was really out there, but I'm about to start staying my ass at home a little bit more and everything. So I'm just going to be focused on me and doing what I need to do. So that's just basically where I stand with it.
And I definitely, I would hope I hope for the best, and I hope, like you said, the administration handles it differently. But if not, I know for a fact the people that I've been around witness these challenging times have grown mentally, and I know for a fact we're just not as dependent as we were prior to, just for lack of knowledge. But now since we've experienced it, we all know how to pretty much to maintain and keep pushing. But we've all experienced how it is when, we're close to a recession or depression, however they want to look at it from a financial space, that, them holiday seasons are a little different when you're trying to get out of there at Walmart and Target, them late hours. It's dangerous anyway, but you got to think last year, like you said, it was good timing to end the year we're going to be, vaccines, but you tell me a year later and I'm still in the same predicament. My mindset still ain't the same. So I don't care what you didn't get vaccinated. My pockets still look like I'm in the middle of a pandemic. So it's just going to be mind altering. So we hope for the best, but I'm glad everybody feels optimistic about it for sure.
You know, I feel bad for the people, for the people that like got homes or whatever, and they rent out to people, and they depend on them to pay their mortgage for that home that they got, and they kind of just stuck in the bind. It's kind of like, do I get the rent from these people, or do I not? Because if I don't get the rent, then I can't pay the mortgage on this house that I'm renting out because I don't quite own it outright yet. But then it's like, but they really hurting. I can't really put them out. I don't really want to put them out. If I don't put them out, then I might get put out of the other property that I own that I live in. So whew, it's a tough it's a tough situation. It's a tough. I know one thing for sure. This is one thing that will change the world. It will change how people look at their businesses and put money back for a rainy day. All that comes into play during this pandemic. Because just like that, people was getting laid off. The secure jobs that you thought you had for 5, 6, been on job 10, 15 years. All of a sudden you don't have, and you get to reaching in your pockets and realizing they ain't as deep as you thought they were. And I'm sure a lot of people thinking I probably should have took this a little bit more serious than I thought. And while I'm fighting people with wearing my mask and say you violating my rights, this, that, and other, man, we got people out here really dying due to this pandemic, due to the disease or whatnot. So, man, it's just a jacked up situation at the end of the day.
Not only that though, it's more lives that can be lost from the pandemic as well. So then you're gonna have to deal with, if the numbers keep increasing, it's gonna go back to where funerals are held Zoom, or can't that many people gather no more and stuff like that. So then it's gonna put a mental strain on a lot of people who just came out of that, and then now they got to go right back into it, because we talk about mental illness all the time, but there ain't nothing like, as you stated, Flake, being at work, but then not being able to leave work, because now home is work. So home used to be your sanctuary, your safe place, your refuge, but now, because if you are working remotely and you're working from home, you still in the office. So then you don't get that same mental clarity or that break. But then also you can't chat or fraternize or do anything with your people because y'all got to be separated. So then it goes to social media, and we know social media, it has its goods, but too much of it is a cancer. And then if that's all you doing, because I can't meet up with Rose, I can't meet up with you, Flake, or whatever, so I'm just on social media to try to keep up with the Joneses, social media is just gonna feed you a certain things over and over again, and then it's just gonna start demoralizing people. So I just hope, as we stated in the episode when this first started, that people really, if they didn't the first time, this time they really think what they could do for themselves, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially, business wise, investing, all of this stuff too. And then the other thing with the investment part, if this come back up, stock market gonna drop again, and then that's other people money who losing out, and thousands of dollars, maybe millions, depending on how big your bank is, and all this other stuff of investments gone and lost because of the pandemic again. So it's many different aspects that you gotta think and that you gotta be mindful of. But again, hopefully, you know, everybody is doing something to help defeat this, or not necessarily defeat it, but to help it keep it to a minimum. And so you just got to be smart and you got to use common sense.
Yeah, and another thing that my last thoughts on this is that, as you were saying, like with the stock market, if I mean the people that are invested, if you know, if you listen to it, you notice that over the last week and a half, or maybe like the last month, honestly, it's been pretty terrible in the stock market due to inflation. And now with the spike of COVID everywhere, you've seen the market really just be to the point where, I mean, you could buy some good dips, but at the same time, it scares you because you really don't know of what direction things are going. It could be going back to the how it was last year when it dropped, the bottom dropped out of the stock market and people lost, like you were saying, thousands, millions. And I mean, it's just part of it. But I just, you know, my goal for it, just being prepared for, would be is, you know, taking time to myself and just really thinking about that self-love part of it, as we may face some more challenging times, and not looking at it from a perspective of, you know, entertainment or money, things like that. Just really find yourself and find your purpose within the times, because I mean, not being pessimistic about it, it's the writings on the wall that we're about to hit another little little tough time. And you know, money and entertainment probably is not going to save you in these particular instances. It's going to be your love for your people and the people that's around you that you're going to be able to enjoy. So you should be I know for a fact I'll be more prepared for it this time, not to overreact and go into, you know, a slump. But it's definitely going to be challenging. But yeah, just tap into yourself and get away from the material things, and love yourself, because it's definitely about to be a challenge, because it's a lot of shit going on, really.
I gotta salute you because I remember last year you wasn't going to be able to go to Tulum for your birthday because they shut it down and everything. So salute to you for being able to get that out there and to experience it this time, right before, you know, possibly they shut shit back down. So you know, yeah, just salute to that, and you know, to it all working out this time, because I know last year it wasn't able to happen.
Boy, I was so hot, but you know, everything happens for a reason. So I mean, I'll be bringing in the clean 30 in Tulum, so it'll be all that. What was the other thing that we were going to discuss is, man, like what the hell is going on in Chicago, man? What's some of y'all thoughts on that? I mean, the government. I mean,
So for me with Chicago, I believe if they do follow up on the request to bring military in, because with the pandemic, the crime rates are increasing in every city, in every urban area across the country. Crime rates are up. So I think that's just going to be the beginning and the test ground for martial law. So then they could come in and implement that in all major environments that are Black, brown, and anything that they feel is threatening to them. And so I just think it will be a test to see how it works, to see what goes on. And not to say Chicago ain't out there, they ain't doing things, but I think if they feel like they could get Chicago and they're successful with Chicago, then they know that they could take over any other urban development area in the country, and they can run rampant, and martial law will probably be in effect.
okay, so I do have a question. I may ask Flake this as well. So it's a yes or no. Do you feel that what's going on in Chicago is something that has just been going on for years and is based off of gangs, or are you one of the people that may think that this has always been an experiment to see exactly if martial law could work in a huge city that is, you know, predominantly Black, that's reported for the violence?
I believe it was all systemic and political. So when I say that is, it might have some test ground, like we're gonna test Chicago out, implications, but I don't think that was solely it. I just think they had a bad run of governors that came over and put money more towards them in downtown, towards the white people, and kept it from the black people and kept it out of those areas. And it really hit Chicago hard. And then because of the implementing of guns in those hoods and neighborhoods by the government, they only had a couple of options and choices. And when your back's against the wall, you always gonna try to survive. But if you know better, you do better. If you educate yourselves, and if you know that people are trying to do something, you can ride, but you'll ride against the right enemy versus the enemy that is you and yourself, and them pitting you against each other. So you ride against the people who actually made your area hard stricken, lack of educational, lack of food deserts, all of this stuff, who made it hard for you to survive and live and to be able to take care of your family versus just going out on each other. So that was my only thing about it. So it might have had some implications, but I just don't think it was all conspiracy. I know it had something to do with it, but we have to take ownership of ourselves and our actions as well. So that's why I say it's not all on the government.
Okay,
So,
okay, I appreciate that. Flake, what's your thoughts? I've heard mixed opinions about how people view it. Is it the spirit point that people need to, take more ownership in regards to what's going on within our communities? Do you feel like this is something that has been set up and now people are just becoming more aware that why is this place so targeted or talked about so much?
I think it's 50-50. I think, like Spirit said, and I agree with him, that they had a long run of messed up government officials and things of that nature that's just forgotten about their side of Chicago. I mentioned in our pre-talk that they've been denied millions of dollars for after school programs, for new school books, for things that could have brought jobs to that area, for things that could keep these kids out of trouble when you in that area like that, or even not in that area like that, in any area. A kid needs something to do when we come to after school programs and things of that nature. And as you and I know, D Rose, we come from a small town. After you get out of school, if you ain't playing those sports, it ain't nothing for you to do. And when you run that and you in that prime age, about 13 to 17, 18 years old, you ain't got nothing to do after school. It ain't nothing but trouble sitting there waiting on you because you bored. Um, so I don't think it might have started off as an experimental plan. I don't think that was the outcome. I just think we was in a situation where one side of a town forgot all about that. People don't want to go over there. When you hear these stories of kids and young adults that came from that area that and never even been to Lake Michigan, it's pretty embarrassing. Lake Michigan ain't nowhere. When they get to Lake Michigan, they think it's the ocean. They ain't the ocean. It's Lake Michigan. Has always been here. Or they saying things like, "There is no black folks downtown Chicago. There's no black folks on the north side of Chicago." To be honest with you, people don't want to talk about it, but it almost seems like segregation test zone, if you ask me. It's like, yeah, we leave them over there. Don't no white folks go over there. We keep them black folks over there. We don't want them over here. I'm not saying Chicago racist, but however, when you got people there with that mental mindset, it seems like some messages had to be sent. As we might have that we talked about in previous episodes, and I've always said, for a low impoverished area, how are they getting these guns? How? Just a handgun gonna run you about $300 to $500. Just a handgun. These cats got grenades. They got bazookas. How? Where can I go to buy a bazooka? I just want to know. I just want to know, how can I get a hold, not for even buying them, it'd just be good to know that, hey, Ralph's Gun Market got these high powered uh, rifles. And they got more AR-15s. Hell, I can't even afford an AR-15. These cats ain't got no job out here with $2,500 guns. How is that even possible? So we all got our reasons for why we think it is. I've seen interviews where people in Chicago said, "Hey, me and my friends just hanging out. We stumbled across a box that had 5 or 6 handguns in it. Who leaving out handguns in the clear open?" We seen videos too where they got these setup things of, we gonna all of a sudden this 18-wheeler truck gonna break down in the hood with all Jordans and clothes and purses and all these other shoes on it. And while the police sit around the corner, wait on somebody to get it and then arrest them. All this seems like a setup. All of it is a setup. At the end of the day, like Spirit said, we need to take accountability for it. On top of that, we also, I know people like to say we don't need no help from the government, but sometimes in situations when you got a government ran country, a government ran state, a government ran city, you need some things to be approved and you need money put in areas where people can, start businesses and have jobs that you can show people the other way. If you don't show them the other way, they never know. Like growing up, I didn't know black folks was out here riding Bentley coupes and Benz Jeeps. I just thought it was all rappers and ball players until one day when you 18 years old, you take a trip to Atlanta and you look to your left and there's somebody out here living in $1 million house, driving a Bentley coupe, and they own a business. They not playing sports. They lawyers, they doctors, they own businesses. Until you are shown that, you do not know that. I think what's happening in Chicago is that has been lost among the youth, is that they hadn't been shown that these things are attainable. So what they know is if you shoot my cousin, I'm gonna shoot your cousin. And it's just been the circle of life there for a while.
Yeah. And so my thoughts on it are, it pretty much aligns with you all. I just think it goes from lack of, overall leadership from a street perspective and a political perspective. But I feel more or less than anything is because knowing people from Chicago, but also some of the other major cities, like Houston's terrible right now as well with the rise in murders, and a lot of the kids that are dying in our city is under 18. Like same with New York, California's always been the same. Recently, a huge spike, and of course, Louisiana's always been the same. Jacksonville, Florida, a lot of people, may connect it to the rap music, but I think with so much coverage about Chicago and with them having an influential rap scene is what I would call that. I think that is just really pushed a plague over our entire country, just to be honest with you. So I know we use Chicago. I know that catches people's attentions, but it's a lot of it happening in everybody's backyard right now, just due to it's. I really feel like just with lack of opportunity, and it's cool, but and also in another crazy way, just from just talking to kids and just being in different environments. I really feel as if that they're in those environments to just survive. They're not even really looking at it from the people how we're looking at it, because we're able to speak about it and not live in those particular instances. So, and that's not people judge, but are quick to say it's just more or less it's really going to be a challenge for everyone that's not immediately caught in those environments to help people out as much as possible. If it ain't nothing but being your own, starting your own Big Brother program to grab a couple kids out of the inner city and take them to hang out with your homeboys, or go, play spades and just show them something different, take them to a different side of town, take them on your own field trip. I think, like, and me and Spears and my homeboy Aaron and some of his people have just talked about it, is I know we all want to wait for the perfect moment just to try to make an impact, but what could we just start doing right now that, hey, we have a few parents that's from the hood that'll be like, hey, take them somewhere with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, get back to that type of trust, building that within the community, because we have to act fast. It's not just Chicago. This is a nationwide thing that's really, really impacting our communities, and the way they glorify it from the news coverage is a lot, but the hood media glorifies the killers and the you know what I'm saying? the demon time references, I think we have to be just as passionate about getting in front of it as people like to either cover it or glorify it, because it's messed up right now. Like, for lack of it, that's just what it is. It's terrible right now, and everybody's city looks like Chicago. To be honest with you, Chicago is just bigger, and it's happening at a more frequent rate. But you got to think about some of those cities that might not even have 100,000 people in there, and this body's dropping every week. And them people know each other, grew up with each other. You know what I'm saying? So they judge the murder rate off of per 100,000 people. So we all know that there's killing going on in them smaller cities too that ain't getting judged like that. So I think, take on the challenge of helping somebody to curb that, because it hurts my heart to know that it's gotten to a point where they'd have to bring in military presence to stop crime within communities.
Real quick, Flake, was that just me, or was Rose freezing a little bit?
Yeah, he froze up a little bit.
Can y'all hear me now though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
We heard the ending part. My question would be basically, what is the military gonna do? Because y'all ain't got the same license as the police department. What are you gonna do?
That's what makes me think it's been an experiment for the entire time. Is because for that to be your initial thoughts is not to hire more police officers. This is to bring in military, which you regards as like Trump administration that flirted with martial law. He said that he would necessarily do it. So now it's just kind of funny, not funny, take that word out of it. It doesn't shock me at all with Biden's administration and with some of the things that he's focused on. And like we talked about at the beginning of his, when he was elected, everybody has a different agenda. So it doesn't shock me that this particular instance will be the time where they really would go through with the military presence within those communities. So your question is very relevant. I don't think it's anything besides we want to establish martial law, and we're going to roll it out to other cities that feel that they need it, especially if they have a high murder rate. So just no different than the feds catching everything and putting everybody that's, want to be braggadocious and doing X, Y, and Z in a RICO case. That's how they're going to go about doing this. Sweep the streets completely. And it could be needed, man, because at the end of the day, if this is to the point where we can't go outside without it being somebody dying, if we won't take accountability, somebody will. So hate to see it, but we want to live, people want to live, you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, and they killing innocent. It'd been different if it's sad that I had to say it this way, but if they were keeping it like it was back in the day and had some morals in regards to how they did it, it'd be completely different. But you're killing grandmamas,
no
kids,
women, no children involved.
Yeah. They just killing
Nobody is not involved. You keep the square out of it. You know a dude's a square. And square me don't mean you a lame, but they call people square just basically straight laced.
Yeah.
I'm going to school. I'm going to my job. Those people you stay out of.
Yeah,
if you was a person that wasn't in that street life, you didn't. You might hear about one catch a stray every once in a while, but outside of that, they like, nah, I'm not finna bother that person. Or like we started seeing when they were shooting up funerals. They be like, I'm not finna do a funeral because it's too many innocent people there. That I got a target for one or two. It's 70 other people that ain't got nothing to do with this.
Exactly.
But that goes back to our OG's conversation that we had on our podcast as well. It's a shortage of those out there, and the real ones anyway. Because the other ones got people going on dummy missions because they out of the game and trying to look for their way to get somebody to do their dirty work so they can be, won't be involved in a RICO case.
But to answer your question directly, what they're gonna do is they're gonna kill, they're gonna pillage, and they're gonna take over the neighborhoods. It's gonna be mass gentrification. So what they're gonna do is get them bodies out of there, lock them people up, murder them people, get them out the street. So then now what you're gonna have is property value drop. You're gonna have people come in buying property because a lot of them people, their grandmamas, their parents gave them the house, or their parents ready to move out of Chicago because they tired of the drama, or whatever the case may be, the older people, or even the military gonna catch some strays, so some innocent people trying to get to the killers and everything, and then that's gonna leave vacant houses, vacant places. So it's gonna be mass gentrification. And like I said, if they can succeed in Chicago with it and take over, then you're gonna see implementation of that taking place all over the country. Because at the end of the day, what we do know is if they're making it easier for us and more equity for us in the courthouse and then with the law, so allowing weed to be legal in certain states and all this other stuff, getting rid of some of these, 3-strike laws and everything, so it's harder to keep us incarcerated to make free dollars. Well, then they're gonna go back to the lynch, and maybe not with a rope, but they got the noose around our neck still, and they're gonna be taking our bodies because we know that they, one, don't respect us, but then they also fear us for some reason. And so that's just how I personally feel. So to answer your question, what they're gonna be doing is coming in there and murder, because they're not gonna have the same so-called rules and mandates that the police have. They're not gonna have to live to them guidelines and into them standards. And a military court in case is totally different than the civilian court in case. So half of the stuff, if they do go up to the JAG or whatever and have to go to the law, a lot of that shit gonna be off the books for civilians. So we ain't gonna be privy to none of it because it's gonna be locked up, militarized, security clearance information that we're not gonna have. And so they might honestly be like, oh, to us, we apprehended this sergeant, uh this lieutenant, this captain, or whatever the case may be, but then behind closed doors in the military, oh, you free, you good, we just had to do this publicity stunt type stuff. So I mean, that's just how I see it. I mean, to be honest, if they really gonna bring them in and they calling them in, that's just how I see it going. Because what other purpose do you serve calling the military in, unless you want them to go ham and to take over?
Completely agree. I just think that's why it's to my point. I feel like it's been an experiment from the jump. Not that there it's not a huge gang presence there, but I truthfully would love to believe that it's not that dangerous there without it being something going on that's really, really pushing this ahead. Yeah, like, no.
Sad situation.
Yeah.
But it's been going on for a long time. And like I stated, there's people that is doing good in the community. However, that's not the stuff that make the news. So it makes Chicago look a lot worse than what it is. So you do have organizations, you do still have protests. Everybody want to holler out, where's Black Lives Matter when it comes to this? Well, they might not be Black Lives Matter, but there's people in those communities that holding these protests that's helping our youth and individuals and trying to give them access to things of that nature. But once again, how the news work, if it bleeds, it leads, and that ain't nothing that bleeds. So they ain't trying to put that out there first stance. So hopefully we don't have to get to a situation where the military is called in. Hopefully the community could take some type of control. Hopefully the government can finally realize that we see what's going on and we give the funding properly that we need to be given. And once again, like I tell everybody, where everybody be hollering, scratching, arguing, fighting, and bitching over who's gonna be the next president, half those people don't show up to the local election to get those governors, to get those mayors, to get whoever's going to be over the first ward, fourth ward, third ward, and whatever ward you got in the city that you live in, to make sure that your word is being spoken up when they have those community meetings with the mayor, or when they talking to the governors and this and that. So once again, make sure we are at those local elections and paying attention to those people who are running for local positions within your city. When you miss out with that, and then you end up getting a racist son of a gun that's the judge, and he putting people in jail for 5-10 years over, a $5 weed sack or something like that. So, and once that's stamped on you, when you get out, guess what? It's hard for you to find a job, black man.
Yeah, I completely agree on that, man. It's we'll see, but as this continues to unveil, and I mean, maybe if it does restore order and helps to curve with what's going on or what have you, I mean, I can't be against that, but I would definitely love for for it to be something that's community driven and not a military presence drove it, honestly.
Well, I don't see how restoration of order can happen when you go there, because one, we know is war now. Like, we know it is non-sugar-coated war. It is a straight attack on Black people and Black bodies and Black lives.
But here, this is how I look at it. The reason why I say a restoration process, me personally, I do not think that it's truthfully Black people killing Black people at that rapid of a rate. I really feel like there is some illegal underground stuff going on in Chicago to spike that killing rate. Like, I've met people from Chicago, talked to people from Chicago. Yes, is it bad? Is it just like any big city with a gang presence? Absolutely. But to the point where, it's been reports that don't really hit the news of people being in black masks or the white people. Like, I really don't think that Black people just killing each other like that, bro. Like, I mean, at this point, are people just walking off the damn porch and just getting guns and killing each other? Like, how many more people do y'all have that ain't locked up or dead? Like, this shit has been going on forever. Like, where are these killers coming from? You feel what I'm saying? Like, literally, I feel like there is some sick shit going on in Chicago and in a lot of big cities. I don't really think that it's just truthfully Black on Black, just Black people killing each other like that. Well, I really don't. I feel like it's some illegal shit that they really dove into it and cared to know. I really feel like that there is, with any city like that where, and we going deep now, but it is what it is. Political corruption, corruption within the police departments. I can't just say that that's just going to be that much killing in that city when you have blatantly known dirty cops, blatantly known dirty politicians, a huge city. It's it's a terrible nightmare, honestly. You have a huge rap scene that raps about everything that you push. And I mean, that's the perfect place to just be free fall. We can just shoot and kill because they brag about it. So we're going to say the whole city turned up and blame the music. I feel like I got more faith in our people. I just don't really think that it's just us killing like that. I really feel like it's some underground bullshit going on up there, honestly.
Well, I respectfully disagree, because I know some people. Then I also, one of my real good friends, I hate when I see it, but literally once a month she talking about one of her people back home being murdered. So whatever, like, she even, like, a year ago, she posted some people dying at one of her people's funeral because they shot up the funeral. So like I know it's happening. Now, the part that I will say that I can kind of agree with is, I don't think it's necessarily people dressing up as Black people, whatever, but I do think that there is some political money, because being fed to some people say, I'll give you these bands if you pop off a war in the city. I do agree with that to a certain extent, but I don't think that anybody's just coming out there putting their life on the line because they know that is a fucking war zone. So regardless if you coming in and trying to set some stuff off, you know that they definitely gonna shoot back and you might not have a chance to make it home, but we ain't really seeing these dead bodies being uncovered as white faces really. They all happen to be black faces that are either dying or being arrested for the capital murders and all this other stuff. So I do think it's really just people lost mentally, but then also people backs against the walls and they don't have nothing to do. And then also what Chicago is, them rich white people ain't worried about the South Side. They're not worried about that side of Chicago. All they care about is that downtown area and maybe a little bit of the north side or whatever. But certain sides of that, they don't care. They don't venture. They don't fool with that. So when we talk about money going in and out, that money ain't touching South Side. That money ain't touching, parts of the West Side. Even some of the North Side, it ain't touching it. So, they not worried about that. So at the end of the day, they say fend for yourself. They say I'm gonna let you make it. They say them police that deal with you, they come to you when they come to you. They get to you when they get to you. If they selling y'all some work or stealing some of y'all work and selling it back to y'all, we don't care about that. At the end of the day, you don't come up here as long as you don't come up to the major north, to the downtown area, to the east side and stuff. We good. So, but I respect your opinion, and I mean, you very well could be right, and I could be the one mistaken, but I do think that it's just I just think if they do this, it'll be a full-on war, and hopefully, if we talk about restoration, that will restore our mindsets to say they never gave a fuck about us. So let's stop killing each other, and let's put the war on the right people. Let's put a red dot on the right enemies.
Boom. That's what I mean by a restoration process. But yeah, I'm following you with that. But yeah, we'll dive a little deeper next time. We have to just do the whole the war in America. We'll say that for a Patreon topic because I don't want to hold back on that one. So we'll we'll let that be for right now. Respectfully, but we're gonna get into that. Yeah, we're gonna get into that one.
Is there anything else that y'all have to talk about or want to tap into?
Nah, that's all I got, man. Grab somebody, tell them you love them, tell them it's cool to go to school, and gangsters taking care of your family, man.
Yeah, definitely. Well, for our Black Business Minute this week, we have the Black Home, thebblackhome.com, thebblackhome.com. About the Black Home, Nephew Walker believes life should be designed beautifully, and a beautiful life is one designed with intention. As a mother of 5, business owner, and principal designer of the Black Home, Nephew Walker bridged the gap on family, creativity, and business in ways that are inviolable. Her approach on life to highlight the overlooked and undervalued beauties can be mirrored in the way she approaches design. Often considered daring, Nephew uses dark tones as the focal point in many of her designs. Known for situating Black walls with pops of color and opulent gold mirrors, Nephew Walker's adaptation of minimalism is something marveled at by Essence, Blavity, Domino, Apartment Therapy, and her profoundly engaging following alike. About the Black Home, located at 7 Williams Street in New York, New Jersey, the Black Home is the destination for inspiration dedicated to highlighting the Black experience, understanding the fear associated with Black as it pertains to color and culture. Nephew Walker designed and curated a space where Black is celebrated always, in all ways. The Black Home represents a celebration of Black artistry, creativity, and excellence. Our carefully curated home decor selection allows you to bring the Black Home into your home. So you could shop at the Black Home for different things for your interior design. And again, as she stated, it's all about making sure that people see Black for the beauty that it is versus the negative narrative and connotation that Black has with it. So if you want to go to the blackhome.com to support and to buy pieces and accents to decorate your home, or even if you're out in that area in New York, New Jersey, you want to stop by the actual building to see what it looks like, and then also to grab some pieces or to get some interior design tips or whatnot, go check out the Black Home. That's our Black Business Minute for the week.
That's dope, man.
Dope. Our Supreme Black Person of the week is Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter. She is one of the most prominent business owners in the United States. She owns several restaurants and branding operations in the United States. She has been widely recognized for her business smarts. She is the president and CEO of V&J Foods, a holding companies incorporated, a multi-brand, multi-state operation. She is recognized as one of the largest owned franchise organizations in the country. Dr. Daniels Carter, quick service restaurants, empire operations she owns some of Auntie Anne's Saupressors, Burger King, Coffee Beanery, Nino's Southern Sides, My Frozen Yogurt, Pizza Hut, Captain D's Seafood, along with numerous real estate ventures. Prior to establishing V&J holding companies, she worked in banking and in finance. On top of that, she is also a minority owner for the Milwaukee Bucks, who is playing in the NBA Finals. For her education, she graduated from Lincoln University with a bachelor's degree in business administration. She also earned a master's degree in business management from Cardinal Stretch University. She also got an honorary doctorate of humane letters from Cardinal Stretch University in 2008 and in Lincoln University in 2016. In 2019, she was inducted to the National Black College Alumni Hall of Fame, joining an elite group of successful African Americans honored and recipients. So, Dr. Valerie Daniels Carter is our Supremely Black Person of the Week. I found out about her because she was one of my minority owners of the Bucks. But I got reading more about her. It was like, oh, okay, she for real out here, you know. So big shout out to her and the success she has brought in her ventures. If you Google her, she also has a plethora of books that you can read about as well, and products if you want to buy some products from her also. So big shout out to her. Valerie Daniels Carter. Valerie Daniels Carter is our Supreme Black Person of the Week. Shout out to you, Queen.
Yeah, shout out to Miss Carter, man. That's dope. I did not know she was a minority owner of the Bucks, though.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Salute to you, Queen.
So, for all our kings out there, put your crown on, took that thing to the side. Let them know you are a king. For all my queens out there, put your crown on, took that thing to the side. Let them know you are a queen. We are supremely black. And we out.